Hello there. Today we will be presenting our ethnography research project around the topic of skincare culture. Before we dive right into our methodology and findings, I would like to briefly introduce the project first. Upon our initial literature review regarding skincare and its relevant potential mental health impacts, we had observed that the internet's unrealistic portrayal of what normal skin has caused many to feel insecure, causing damage to one's self-esteem and self-worth. As a consequence of trying to attain societal approval, there has been an increase of people following skincare trends that are potentially harmful. Despite having a diverse population of different individuals and skin types, our societal depiction of what skin is supposed to be like has been skewed. Wanting to focus on a more specific theme of our chosen topic, an investigation was carried out with skincare as the central keyword. Throughout our initial background research, we noticed several recurring themes amongst the skincare community and created a landscape map to visually communicate its most relevant points of interest. As displayed, though skincare is surrounded by multiple factors such as influence of Korean culture and social media, we would like to particularly focus upon the highlighted branches. Given the limited time and resources for this research project, we decided to narrow down the larger subject of skincare to researching the details of the culture that revolve around the themes of health, self-care, and avocation. Collating our current background knowledge on the skincare culture and interests and the impacts of mental health, explore how people use Reddit to communicate about skincare culture, thereby understanding their intention when practicing and sharing skincare routines.
I will now explain on the choice of our outline community platform. Looking at the social platforms that feature day-to-day operation, Facebook and Reddit come to mind. Trying to narrow down on a choice, we simplify certain key terms such as skincare routine, skincare advice to represent key elements of our research questions. Subsequently, similar search producers include key phrase were conduct on both sides. Within our investigative journey, we discovered several active communities with large numbers of members and had decided to further scout the two groups with the most members on each site, respectively. While Facebook's top following account had around 68K members, Reddit threads on skincare addiction had 1.4 million members, so we decided to use Reddit as our target site. Another reason for this choice was because Facebook groups are private and would mean we could only see discussion posts when an approval from admin was granted. Though we had requests to join for 2 days, we still had not received a response. Hence, our decision to proceed with Reddit public thread, the selection of the thread skin addiction, was based on its supposed credibility, as it was formed 3 years earlier than the other group. Furthermore, the chosen thread also had more focused subtopic which support the direction of our research question more.
With more than 1.4 million members, the skincare addiction community on Reddit contains a relatively large amount of discussions on various subtopics relating to skincare. Any internet user can choose to read conversation of their chosen topics only by clicking on the word called flare. Each flare is a keyword that generalize some most common topics, which help us, researchers, save time to filter out posts that directly related to the research topics. For this ethnographic research, we will narrow down the observation on selection of subtopics that explicitly address and focus on the relationship among skincare routine, skin concerns, and mental health. To carry out the research, a mixture of observational ethnographies and other ethnographies that more focused on interactive data will be applied. First, we will select the investigate data operations to study the group's related themes and daily conversations. We will record each day's top 20 posts of the two chosen flares and the first 2 pages of the comment section of each post, together with any particularly active post or discussion at the time of collection. Screenshots will be used to capture and keep record of those data. The researchers will review all posts for pertinent emergent themes and noting down all the observed trends, language, social norms, communication themes, mentions of brand, meta discussions.
Then we'll collect interactive data operation to explore the intention of a user when practicing skincare routine and sharing skincare experience on this subreddit. When we start to become more familiar with the community's culture, We'll distribute the questionnaire in the form of a public post so that everyone who gave their consent can participate. Unlike one-to-one interview where selected members will also be contacted in order to acquire more in-depth knowledge about their personal experience. The selection of members will be decided based on the interviewees' demographic information, their time in the community, their distribution to the community, etc. We'll contact the moderators of this subreddit in advance to explain about our research. Make sure we don't violate any rules of the subreddit and ask for their support in shortlisting, contacting the interviewees. The immersion journal will be carried on by all members of the research team using an online shared document on Google Drive, all for methodical set of skills. Reconnoitering, recording, researching, and reflecting will be practiced from the very first day of the research. The anticipated outcome will be a combination of a visuality, notes, reflecting writings, emotion, recording, etc. that enable us to analyze and look at the research question from another angle. Sit alongside interaction, data collection, operation, or engagement strategy, and our major strategy will be social engagement. Distributing questionnaire and conduct one-to-one online interview involve a direct communication and interaction with the groups we are investigating, while openly and ethically exchanging ideas with them. Besides, we are also planning to adopt the cultural engagement strategies in which us, the researchers, will start building our own skincare routine based on the guidelines on the group and take up relevant advice for our skin types. We believe that this engagement strategy will provide us with deeper understanding of the skincare culture and its impact on individuals physically and mentally.
As all the social interactions on Reddit are public, there are some ethical issues associated with the use of those content. For instance, Reddit users may not expect their comment to be read and discussed by researchers outside their community. Especially with the nature of this group, many posts are attached with sensitive content like photos revealing the user's skin or body parts. These posts may potentially lead to psychological harm to the selected users if they find the research findings offensive. On the other hand, it is also fairly reasonable to assume that those users who share their stories publicly on a public site must be aware that their data is accessible to anyone with an internet connection. On the basis of this, it is possible to conclude that the user's postings can be considered public communications. Nevertheless, this fact doesn't mean we have the right to use those materials as we please. Therefore, we come up with certain strategies to protect individuals' identities and ensure the ethics when doing this ethnography. Regarding investigative data operation, we will not assign pseudonyms nor quotes directly from the posts or comments because usernames or quotes can easily be traced back to the original users with a quick Google search. Instead, we will modify the username and use paraphrases or indirect excerpts. Regarding interactive data operation, we will contact the community moderators about the research in advance and discuss about the permission to observe this group and the distribution of questionnaires. We will also attach a consent form on the questionnaire or distribute to the interviewees in advance, ensuring that participants' agreement to join the research is an informed decision. When observing the online discussion or selecting excerpts, overhearing conversation is unavoidable. We, however, will limit our analysis to focus only on data that is relevant to skincare routine and skin concerns. We will refrain from using any other particular sensitive or personal information. All of the ethnographic process will be subject to the strict compliance requirements imposed by the GDPR. The commitment to protect user privacy will be our top priority.
Here we have illustrated a diagram that displays the core themes of our further research. After thorough investigation of the Reddit thread, we noticed three main themes, which are beauty, health, and education, along with three sub-themes of mental health, advice, and hobby. The larger triangle reflects the basis of what the skincare community is about, to maintain one's health and beauty whilst advocating the notion of. The smaller inner triangle portrays the more specific underlying agendas that come with the core themes. Particularly underlining the theme of mental health, users are using the Reddit platform to share personal stories to encourage and provide a place of normality for those who may also be dealing with the impacts of skincare. Additionally, the community also represents a large gathering of skincare hobbyists who all enjoy talking about skincare.
However, there are limitations of the ethnography that we may encounter, which are sampling issues with investigative data operation, because we mainly focus on public posts, but there are several well-known differences between users who post on the social media and those who don't post but only read through the sites. For instance, people who post on the subreddit tends to be more expressive and more extreme in their opinion. So we must take into consideration that the data we drew may not represent the whole community, but in fact a group of people who sharing a similar behaviors in sharing and expressing. That sums up our presentation for our first stage of the ethnographic process studying of skincare culture. Thank you for listening.